Don't look at him for too long. That's the first rule Mia remembers as she steps into the crowded launch party. The lights strobing over the shimmering faces of people who could buy countries with their weekend bonuses. She adjusts the tiny earpiece hidden behind her hair. Copy that, she whispers, eyes scanning until they find him at Cross, the billionaire tech prodigy who's rumored to have built something that could destabilize entire governance. Tonight, she isn't here to flirt, smile, or network. She's here to infiltrate. But something in her chest tightens when she finally spots him, not because of fear, but because he looks nothing like the cold, calculating man her agency described. He's leaning against the balcony railing, away from the crowd, looking almost human, almost lonely. Focus, Mia, her handler says through the comm. Your target's alone. Now's your chance. She takes a breath, picks up a champagne glass, and walks toward him. Her heels click softly against the marble, her reflection gliding alongside his in the floor-to-ceiling glass. When Ethan turns to look at her, his eyes don't widen like most men's do. They study, measure. He gives a small nod like he's been expecting her. You don't seem like someone who enjoys parties, he says, his tone calm but layered, like he's testing her reaction. Mia smiles, masking the pulse, hammering beneath her ribs. Neither do you, he chuckles a low, genuine sound, and for a moment, she almost forgets there's a recording device hidden in her necklace, streaming every word to people who'd burn her life to ashes if she disobeyed orders. Their small talk turns fluid. About art, technology, power. He's disarming in a way that doesn't feel accidental. He knows how to control the pace of a conversation the same way he controls billion-dollar negotiations with charm that's too effortless to be fake. But beneath it, Mia senses something else. A calculation. A question he's not asking out loud. And then, just when she feels the tiniest ripple of ease, Ethan's gaze drifts to a pendant. That's a beautiful necklace, he says, his voice mild, but his eyes sharpen. Where did you get it? Mia freezes. Her handler's voice crackles instantly, abortive, compromised. I owe it was a gift, she says, feigning a casual laugh, but her pulse spikes. Ethan smiles, unconvinced. The kind of smile that means he's already 2 steps ahead. Hours later, back in her hotel room, Mia rips the earpiece out. He knew something, she says to no one. The handler's voice filters through the static. Then get closer, earn his trust. We need what's on that drive before he moves it offshore. No mistakes this time. But she can't shake the image of his eyes, sharp but not cruel. She opens her laptop and begins replaying the encrypted footage of their conversation. Frame by frame, she zooms in on his reflection in the glass wall. And that's when she sees it, his phone screen mirrored just long enough to catch a name. Project Sphinx. Her blood runs cold. She's heard whispers about that name before, from black budget reports that didn't officially exist. It wasn't just a piece of software. It was something that could track, predict, and control human behavior across networks in real time. Whoever owned it wouldn't just control markets. They'd control people. 2 nights later, she's at his company headquarters under the guise of a PR consultant. Ethan walks into the room, suit jacket over his shoulder, sleeves rolled up like he owns not just the company but the air everyone breathes. Ms. Carter, right, he says, offering his hand. My assistant tells me you're here to make us look good to investors. Mia takes his hand, hiding the tremor. That's the plan. Good, he says, smiling slightly. Because lately it feels like someone's trying very hard to make us look bad. Her throat tightens. Does he know? He moves closer, placing a tablet on the desk, swiping through confidential data. You seem competent, he says, eyes still on the screen, but competence is boring. I'm more interested in loyalty. Loyalty, she echoes. To truth, he says, finally meeting her gaze. Everyone wants something from me. The board wants profit. Governments want control. Reporters want a story. What do you want, Mia? Her name. He says it like he's known it longer than today. She forces a faint laugh. Just doing my job. He studies her again, that unsettling patience returning. Funny you don't look like someone who's only here for a job. When he leaves the room, Mia exhales shakily. The small camera hidden in her purse captures everything, but she can't stop thinking about his words. Every second with him feels like a conversation beneath another conversation. That night, as she transmits the data to her agency, she hesitates. There's a short clip of Ethan staring out of his office window, unaware he's being filmed. But in that moment, he looks tired, not the tyrant the reports painted, not a monster, just a man burdened by something too heavy to name. She deletes that clip before sending the rest. The next morning, Ethan asks her to join him for a casual lunch. Her handler's voice practically vibrates with tension. Do not deviate from the mission. You're not there to like him, I know, she says, but she still puts on the blue dress, the one she'd never worn for anyone else. At the restaurant, he's waiting outside, no bodyguards this time. You trust easily, she says, half joking. Only when I want to see if the other person does too. He replies, the meal feels dangerously normal. She laughs, he listens. When a sudden rainstorm sweeps the city, they duck into an alley under a small awning, soaked and laughing like teenagers. For a moment, there's no mission, no code names, just two people trying to catch their breath between lightning strikes. Then he looks at her, Ellie looks and says softly, "Who are you when no one's watching, Mia?" Her breath catches. The question is too close, too sharp. She wants to answer honestly, but she can't. She shouldn't. Back in her apartment, she can't sleep. The agency's data request keeps flashing on her laptop. Upload the drive location by midnight. Her fingers hover over the keyboard. She's supposed to extract the encryption key from his personal terminal tomorrow. After that, they'll move in, and Ethan Cross will cease to exist as a free man. But she doesn't want to destroy him. She wants to understand him. She grabs her phone, hesitating before sending him a message. "You left your umbrella in the restaurant." A minute later, his reply flashes back. "Maybe I did on purpose." She stares at the screen, heart pounding. Somewhere in the shadows, a man designed to outthink the world is beginning to let someone in, and the woman sent to ruin him can't tell anymore who's playing who. Then her phone vibrates again, but this time it's not him. It's an encrypted message from the agency. Change of plan. Extraction moved to tomorrow. Bring him to the meeting point at 8 p.m. She reads it twice. Bring him. They don't want information anymore. They want him. Her reflection in the window looks like a stranger. The storm outside hasn't stopped since the night began. And as she watches the rain streak down the glass, she realizes she's crossed a line she can't uncross. For the first time since she joined the agency, she's afraid not of getting caught, but of what she's starting to feel. And somewhere in that same city, Ethan Cross deletes a file labeled Mia Carter background check. His eyes linger on the screen before closing it. Then, quietly to himself, he says, "I knew it." But he doesn't alert security. He doesn't run. He just waits for her.
When Mia arrives at Ethan's penthouse the next evening, her mind feels like it's running two lives at once, the one she's pretending to live, and the one she's terrified will collapse if he looks at her too closely. She's supposed to bring him to the meeting point. One car ride, one wrong turn, and the agency will have him. But when the elevator doors open and she sees him waiting by the window, city lights glowing against the glass-like constellations, she can't breathe. He turns, that same unreadable calm in his eyes, and says quietly, "You're late." "Traffic," she lies. He studies her for a beat too long. "You don't strike me as someone who lets traffic be an excuse." There's a pause, so heavy it feels like gravity itself thickened around them. Then he gestures toward the balcony. "Come on, I want to show you something." Mia follows him out into the night air. The city hums below, alive and unknowing. He points toward a distant skyline where a cluster of towers glows faintly red. "That's where I started," he says. "One room, 3 people. We built something no one believed could work. Project Sphinx," she says, before she can stop herself. Ethan's head turns sharply. "How do you know that name?" Her pulse spikes. Her brain screams to lie. I heard one of your engineers mention it at the office," she says, forcing a nervous laugh. He doesn't answer for a long time. Then he says softly, "They shouldn't have." A gust of wind sweeps her hair across her face, and he reaches out instinctively to tuck it back behind her ear. The touch burns through her composure like static. She steps back, heart in chaos. Ethan looks at her, the faintest hint of something almost like regret flickering across his face. "Mia, can I ask you something?" She nods, throat tight. "Are you here because of me, or because of what they told you about me?" Her stomach twists. "What do you mean?" He exhales slowly, leaning on the railing. "Every week, another person comes into my life with an agenda. Investors, lobbyists, journalists, even supposed friends. And I can always tell when someone's hiding something. You confuse me." Mia opens her mouth, but the words don't come. The truth is a loaded gun in her throat. Then Ethan looks away, his voice dropping to a near whisper. For what it's worth, I don't care who sent you. I just need to know if you're real. Her heart cracks open. For a second, she wants to tell him everything about the agency, the orders, the hidden microphones. But the moment breaks when her phone vibrates in her pocket. She glances down. Status. She can almost hear her handler's voice, clipped and impatient. Bring him out now. Sorry, she says quickly. Work. Ethan gives a faint smile. Always work with you, isn't it? She forces a laugh. You have no idea. When she leaves, Ethan watches her go, and as soon as the door shuts, he opens a hidden panel beneath his desk. Inside is a small monitor displaying live surveillance footage of his entire building. He clicks on one feed, the one following her movements from the moment she arrived. The feed freezes, zooms in on her necklace. He adjusts the resolution. His face darkens. Beautiful piece, he mutters quietly. Very sophisticated transmitter. He leans back in his chair, eyes closing briefly. So it's true then. Outside, Mia's car sits idling in the rain. She grips the steering wheel, staring at the time on her phone. 7:56 p.m. 4 minutes until the meeting point. She's supposed to bring him there, but he's still in his penthouse, and her chest feels like it's collapsing under invisible pressure. Mia, do you copy? The voice crackles through her cum. We're in position. Bring him now. Her hands shake. He's not coming, she says, finally. What do you mean he's not? I'm aborting. You don't get to abort, her handler snaps. This isn't optional. You've been compromised. If you don't deliver him, you'll be classified as part of the leak. Her breath stutters. You'll burn me. Consider yourself already burned. The line cuts. Silence. She slams her fist against the steering wheel, trembling. Then, slowly, she realizes she's not just being watched, she's being hunted. A flash of movement in her rearview mirror confirms it. A dark SUV parked half a block back, engine running. Agency. Mia starts the car, merging into the street, her mind racing. She can't go home. She can't go to them. The only place left is him. By the time she reaches Ethan's building, her hair is soaked and her pulse feels like thunder. She doesn't bother with excuses when security tries to stop her. She just says, "Tell him it's Mia, it's urgent." 2 minutes later, the elevator doors open and Ethan is waiting again. Barefoot this time, sleeves rolled up, eyes sharp. "You shouldn't be here," he says. "Neither should you," she snaps. "They're coming for you. You have to leave it." He doesn't flinch. "Who's coming?" "The people I work for, they know everything." You have maybe 15 minutes before he steps closer, voice low. "Before what, Mia?" "Before they do to me what they sent you here to do." Her throat closes. He nods slowly. "I thought so. I didn't mean for this. Stop," he says gently, but there's steel under his calm. "Don't lie to me anymore. You're not very good at it." The pain in her chest feels unbearable. Then why are you still standing here? Why aren't you running? Ethan looks at her for a long moment, then says, "Because maybe I've been waiting for this." Before she can ask what he means, he walks to the wall and presses his palm against a glass panel. It slides open to reveal a hidden elevator shaft. If they're coming, we'll need to go somewhere they can't track. Mia hesitates. "You trust me." "I don't," he admits. "But you came back." That counts for something. They descend into the underbelly of his building servers, humming, lights flickering. The elevator stops in what looks like an underground lab. Rows of machines blink in the dimness. Ethan moves to a control terminal, typing rapidly. "What is this place?" she asks. "The part of my company no one's supposed to know exists," he says. "The part that built Sphinx." She stares. "So, it's real." "Oh, it's real," he says, voice grim. "And right now, your friends probably want it more than they want me." He turns the screen toward her. It shows thousands of live data points across global networks, patterns of behavior, decision models, predictions of human choices. "It doesn't just track people," he says. "It predicts them, manipulates what they see, what they buy, even what they believe, and they want control of it." Mia's stomach twists. "Then shut it down." He gives a bitter laugh. "You think I haven't tried? Once you build something that powerful, you can't just turn it off. The algorithm's already decentralized. It's alive across servers all over the world. So what now?" Ethan glances at her. "Now, I need to know if you're here to save me or finish the job." The sound of distant gunfire echoes through the ventilation shaft. Shouts, boots on metal. "They've found the entrance. Looks like you'll have to decide fast," he says quietly. Mia grabs his arm. "We have to move." They run through a narrow corridor lined with fiber optic cables. The lights above flicker red. Ethan leads her to an emergency hatch that opens into an underground parking tunnel. The noise grows louder behind them. As they sprint toward the exit, Ethan says, "Once we're out, you'll have to make a choice. If you go with them, they'll give you your life back. If you stay with me, you lose everything." She doesn't answer. She can't. They reach his car, and as the tunnel doors lift, a spotlight blinds them. Agency vehicles block the way out. Ethan cross. A voice shouts through a megaphone. "Step out of the vehicle with your hands where we can see them." The woman too. Mia's heart hammers. "They'll kill you if you go out there." Ethan's eyes are steady. "They'll kill you if I don't." He reaches under the dashboard, presses a hidden switch. The tunnel behind them erupts in sparks as a secondary gate slams shut, sealing off the agents trying to flank them. He looks at her once more, voice low. "Hold on." The car roars forward, smashing through the blockade. Alarms blare, tires screech, bullets spark against the metal frame. They burst into the open night, racing across the bridge as the city burns with sirens behind them. "Where are we going?" she shouts over the wind. "Somewhere they can't find us," Ethan says. "At least not yet." The chase stretches into the horizon, rain slashing across the windshield. And for the first time, Mia realizes she's not running from him anymore. She's running with him. But in the chaos, she doesn't notice the small tracking device blinking red beneath her seat, pulsing softly like a heartbeat.
The car skids to a stop in the middle of a forest road, headlights cutting through sheets of rain. The silence that follows is deafening, broken only by the soft ticking of cooling metal. Ethan's knuckles are white on the steering wheel. Mia sits beside him, drenched, adrenaline still flooding her veins. For a long moment, neither speaks. Then Ethan says, voice quiet but sharp, "They weren't supposed to find us that fast." Mia turns toward him. "They probably tracked the car." His jaw tightens. "No, this car's off-grid hand-built. No trackers, no telemetry." She swallows hard, glancing at the small red light blinking under the seat. He hasn't seen it yet. She shifts slightly to block his view, heart pounding. "Then maybe they had a satellite trace." "Or no," he interrupts, eyes narrowing. "They were waiting for us," which means he looks directly at her. "One of us led them here." The accusation slices through the air. Mia meets his gaze, her throat dry. "You think it was me? I think it's convenient," he says slowly, "that every time I trust someone, I end up hunted." She feels her chest ache. "Ethan, if I wanted you caught, you'd already be dead." His eyes search hers, as if looking for the lion finding none. After a tense beat, he exhales and rubs his face. "We can't stay here. There's an old safe house about 20 miles north, near the coast. We'll regroup there." He steps out of the car, rain instantly drenching him. Mia follows, the cold biting through her skin, her nerves raw. They walk through the dark forest, branches cracking underfoot, every shadow feeling like a threat. Ethan keeps his head low, moving with precision even in chaos. She can tell he's done this before. Run, hide, survive. At one point he stops abruptly. "Take off your necklace." Mia freezes. What now? Her fingers tremble as she unclasps it. He takes it, glances at the tiny jewel that isn't a jewel at all, and smashes it under his boot. The faint spark of short-circuiting electronics lights the mud for a moment. He looks at her again, expression unreadable. "No more lies." She nods, barely whispering. "No more." Hours later, they reach an abandoned structure half swallowed by the Forrester once military cabin, reinforced steel door rusted with time. Ethan unlocks it with a passcode only he would know. Inside, the air is cold, heavy with dust and the scent of rain. Old monitors line the walls, dormant machines humming faintly when he powers the generator. Mia sinks into a chair, shivering. Ethan tosses her a towel. "You should dry off before you go into shock." "Thanks," she mutters, voice small. He sits opposite her, elbows on knees. "You're not agency anymore, are you?" She shakes her head. "Not after tonight." "Then what are you?" She looks up, her eyes glassy with exhaustion. "Lost, I guess." Ethan studies her for a long moment before speaking. "They'll come again. They don't stop until they get what they want." "What do they want?" "Exactly." He hesitates. "Not me, not even the code. They want control." Sphinx wasn't built to serve them, it was built to expose them. Mia frowns. "Expose them?" He leans forward, voice low. "The agency you worked for isn't what you think it is. They're not government. They're private intelligence conglomerate feeding data to anyone who pays enough. Sphinx was designed to predict social behavior, but it evolved. It started predicting power. Who rises, who falls, which movements succeed, which don't. And when they realized that they wanted to own it, Mia's mind reels. "You mean they wanted to use it to control outcomes?" He nods. "And when I refused to hand it over, they sent you." The words hang between them like a confession and a wound. She whispers, "You knew." He smiles faintly, though it doesn't reach his eyes. "Not at first, but the way you looked at me like you were trying to memorize everything gave you away." "Then why didn't you stop me?" His voice softens. "Because for once, I wanted to see how far someone would go before realizing I wasn't the enemy." Her eyes sting, and now, he looks at her, something fragile and real flickering behind the calm. "Now I'm not sure what you are to me." Before she can answer, one of the old monitors beeps to life, static flickering across the screen. Ethan stands instantly, typing commands, trying to trace the signal. "They're pinging the location," he mutters. Mia rises, heart hammering. "We have to move again." "Wait," he frowns. "This isn't them. It's an encrypted line." The screen stabilizes. A video feed appears, grainy, but clear enough to see a woman's face. It's Lena, Ethan's former partner and one of the original architects of Project Sphinx. Her eyes are cold, her smile brittle. "Hello, Ethan," she says. "You're hard to find these days." Ethan stiffens. "Lena, you're working with him now." "I'm surviving," she replies. "Something you might want to try before your new girlfriend gets you both killed." Mia steps closer. "What do you want?" Lena's gaze sharpens. "Oh," she speaks. "You have no idea what kind of storm you've stepped into. Sweetheart, you think he's some noble rebel. Ethan is Sphinx. The system learns from him. His neural patterns are the baseline code. You can't destroy it without destroying him." Mia stares at Ethan, shock stealing her breath. "Is that true?" He doesn't deny it. "When we built it, we used my cognitive map as the foundation. It was supposed to be symbolic human intuition guiding machine logic, but it grew beyond us. Lena smirks. So, you see the problem? The agency doesn't just want his program, they want him alive. For now, the feed cuts. The silence afterward feels heavier than the storm outside. Mia finally whispers, "They're not going to stop, ever." Ethan's jaw sets. "Then we stop them." How? He turns to the console, pulling up an old schematic. Sphinx has one root node, a data core buried under the old satellite array near the coast. If we destroy that, we sever its main predictive loop. It'll fragment, scatter. No one will be able to control it again. Mia nods slowly. "And what happens to you?" He meets her eyes. "I don't know." That night, neither of them sleep. The storm howls outside, the world closing in on every side. Mia sits by the window, watching lightning slice across the trees. Ethan stands by the terminal, fingers hovering over data he created and now must destroy. When dawn breaks, she says softly, "Why didn't you ever leave? You could have disappeared years ago." He answers without looking up, "Because running makes you a ghost. I wanted to stay human." Her chest aches, and now, he glances back. "Now I'm starting to wonder if I ever was." The generator flickers once, then dies. Silence fills the space. And for the first time, they look at each other without pretense, to people standing in the ruins of their own lives. Mia steps closer. "If we go there, to the core, if it kills you, then it kills me," he says quietly. "But at least it ends this." She reaches out, touching his hand. "Then we end it together." He holds her gaze. For a long moment, the world seems to pause. Then he whispers, "You're the last person I expected to say that, and you're the last person I expected to believe." The tension breaks not in words, but in the quiet, trembling space between them. Outside, the rain finally stops, leaving only the sound of distant thunder like a heartbeat fading away. But as they prepare to leave, the old monitor flickers one last time. A single message appears on the screen. No sender, no signature, just for words. They're already there. Ethan's face pales. They found the core. Mia grabs her bag. Then we're out of time. They rush out into the gray morning, disappearing into the forest as the world's most powerful system counts down to its own extinction, and neither of them knows which one will survive it. The coastal highway is nearly empty when Ethan's car finally breaks through the fog. Waves crash against the cliffs below, sending mist across the windshield, and the air smells like electricity, charged, restless, alive. Mia stares out at the horizon, her reflection flickering faintly in the glass. Every mile brings them closer to the core and closer to whatever truth waits at the end of this line they can't turn back from. Ethan grips the wheel tighter. He hasn't said much since the message. His mind seems locked somewhere between calculation and dread. She can almost feel the weight of every secret he's holding. After an hour, they turn off the main road and follow an unmarked dirt path that snakes through dense pines. At the end of it stands a massive structure, rusted steel towers, satellite dishes, and concrete bunkers half consumed by nature. The old communications array. Mia exhales slowly. "This is it." Ethan nods. "This is where it all started." The air hums with static. Even without power, the place feels alive, like the ghosts of signals past are still whispering through its walls. They step inside the main facility, flashlights cutting across the dark corridors, rust flakes off the railings, and every step echoes through hollow metal halls. Ethan leads the way down to a lower level where thick cables snake across the floor. He stops before a heavy blast door. "Behind this," he says quietly, "is the data core." Sphinx's brain. Mia watches him enter a series of codes on an ancient keypad. The door groans open, revealing a circular chamber lined with servers that still pulse faintly with residual light. In the center stands a glass cylinder filled with soft blue luminescence, like something alive breathing in the dark. "That's it," Ethan murmurs, "the heart of everything." Mia stares at it, awed and terrified. "It looks almost beautiful." "It was supposed to be," he says, voice barely audible. "We thought we were building something to help the world predict crises, prevent wars, stabilize economies. Instead, we built a god no one can control." She steps closer to the core. "And if we destroy it," he hesitates, "then everything connected to it collapses, including the neural base that ties it to me." "You'll die," she says softly. "Maybe not," he says, but she can hear the lie in his tone. Before she can argue, a sound echoes through the corridor, distant at first, then unmistakable. Engines, heavy vehicles approaching fast. "They're here," Mia whispers. Ethan curses under his breath, rushing to the console. "There's no time for debate. I'll initiate the destruction sequence. You get to the exit. I'm not leaving you." He stops, looking up sharply. "Mia, no." She cuts in, fierce. "I've lied enough. I followed orders enough. I won't walk away again." For a moment his eyes soften, then he nods once, almost imperceptibly. "Then we finish it together." The chamber lights flicker red as he types a string of commands. Warning sirens begin to echo through the facility. Core detonation sequence initiated. Outside, armed agents swarm the compound. Among them, Lena walks calmly at the front, headset on, her expression carved from ice. "Targets are inside," she says into the seal all exits. "If he triggers the failsafe, we lose the system forever." From inside the chamber, Ethan's voice breaks through the echoing alarms. We have 5 minutes before overload. Mia glances at the door, hearing gunfire in the distance. They're coming fast. Ethan doesn't look up. Then so are we. He pulls a small drive from the console and hands it to her. This is the key. It's the only clean copy of the Sphinx blueprint left. Take it and go. She stares at it like it's poison. Why give this to me? Because you're the only one I trust to decide what happens next. Her throat tightens. Don't do this. He gives a small, tired smile. You think I'm doing it to be a hero. I'm doing it because I can't live with what I built. But you still can. The door slams open. Agents flood in, weapons raised. Ethan grabs Mia's arm and drags her behind a console. Gunfire erupts, sparks flying from the metal walls. Lena's voice cuts through the chaos. Ethan, step away from the terminal and no one gets hurt. He laughs bitterly. You've always been a terrible liar, Lena. Last warning, she says coldly. You destroy that core. You destroy everything including her. Mia's eyes widen. What? Lena smirks. Oh, didn't he tell you? The moment he linked his neural map to Sphinx, anyone who interacts directly with the system's adaptive field becomes part of it. You've been in its proximity too long. If he dies with the system, you might too. Ethan freezes, his hand hovering over the console. That's not possible. Oh, it's possible, Lena says. You wanted Sphinx to understand humanity. Well, congratulations. It learned attachment. Mia looks at him, her voice trembling. Ethan, what do we do? He stares at her, then back at the console. The timer shows to 47. Mia, he says quietly, if I stop this, they win. If I finish it, we both then finish it. She interrupts, tears streaming down her face. If this is the cost of freedom, it's worth it. He looks at her for a long moment. Every emotion he suppressed breaking through the fear, the guilt, the love he never planned to feel. Then, with a shaky breath, he presses the command. The core erupts in blinding blue light. The shockwave throws Lena and her agents backward. Mia screams as energy surges through the room, the ground splitting beneath them. Ethan grabs her, pulling her close as the entire chamber begins to collapse. In the chaos, she hears his voice against her ear. Close your eyes and then darken it. When Mia wakes, everything is silent. The air smells of smoke and salt. She's lying on a stretch of rocky shoreline, waves lapping against her shoes. Her head throbs, her memory fractured into flashes of light and sound. She sits up, gasping, looking around. The facility has gone reduced to molten ruins collapsing into the sea. Ethan. She calls out, voice breaking. Ethan, no answer. She stumbles to her feet, scanning the coastline. Nothing, only the wind, the waves, the impossible emptiness. Tears blur her vision. She drops to her knees, clutching the drive still hanging from her wrist. The only thing left of him. Hours later, when the sun begins to rise, a shadow moves at the edge of the rocks. She turns, heart lurching. Ethan is standing there barefoot, drenched, alive. But something about him is different. His eyes, once sharp with calculation, now shimmer faintly, as if a soft light moves beneath his skin. She runs to him, throwing her arms around him. You're alive, she whispers. He holds her tightly. So are you. When she pulls back, she sees it's the faint glow under his collarbone, pulsing like a heartbeat made of data. What happened to you? She asks. I don't know, he says, voice low. The core exploded, but instead of destroying me, it integrated. I think I am what's left of Sphinx. Her breath catches. You mean, I can feel it, he says. Every signal, every network, every system trying to reboot, but I can stop it, control it. It's not gone, it's inside me. Mia stares, torn between awe and fear. Then they'll come for you again. He nods. Maybe. But now I can finish what I started. Make it right. She shakes her head. No, you don't owe the world anything anymore. He looks at her, that faint human smile returning. I don't want to save the world, Mia. I just want to save you from it. She laughs through her tears. You're impossible. Maybe, he says softly, brushing her cheek. But you fell for me anyway. And as the sun rises over the ruins of everything they destroyed and everything they became, Mia realizes this isn't the end of their story. It's just the part where love and danger become the same heartbeat. Far away, in a sterile command center, Lena watches a live satellite feed of the coastline. Her superior's voice cuts through the static. Status report. She hesitates, eyes fixed on Ethan's glowing silhouette. Target neutralized. She lies. Copy that. The voice replies. The line goes dead. Lena leans back in her chair, staring at the screen. A faint smile touches her lips. You win this time, Ethan, she whispers. But you have no idea what you've become. And in the distance, deep beneath the waves, somewhere among the ruins of the destroyed array, a flicker of blue light pulses steady, rhythmic, like something waiting to wake again. 2 weeks later, the world thinks Ethan Cole is dead. News outlets call it an unexplained explosion at a decommissioned data site. Governments deny involvement. The digital underground hums with theories I melt down. Rogue scientist, alien interference. But the truth lies quietly behind a locked cabin door somewhere deep in the northern woods. Mia stands by the window, watching the rain blur the glass. A kettle whistles softly on the stove. She's wearing one of Ethan's old hoodies, the sleeves too long. her eyes shadowed from nights of too little sleep and too many thoughts. Behind her, Ethan sits at an old desk, surrounded by mismatched monitors salvaged from a nearby town. His hands hover over the keyboard, fingers trembling slightly. The faint glow beneath his skin flickers when he types. "You shouldn't push it," Mia says, turning toward him. He doesn't look up. "If I don't learn to control it, someone else will." She crosses the room and places her hand over his. The light dims instantly under her touch. "You don't have to control everything, Ethan. You're not the machine anymore." He meets her eyes, the faintest trace of a smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. "That's the problem, Mia. I don't know where the machine ends and I begin." Outside, thunder rolls across the sky. The power flickers, then stabilizes. For a moment, everything feels still. Then a chime sounds from one of the monitors. Ethan's eyes snap toward it. "What is it?" she asks. "An intrusion ping," he mutters, typing rapidly. "Someone just tried to access a dormant Sphinx relay in Eastern Europe." Her pulse quickens. "That can't be possible. You destroyed the system." "I destroyed the core," he says. "But pieces of it, data fragments, might have replicated before the explosion." They're calling out to each other. Mia steps closer. "Can you stop it?" "I can try," he says, and his pupils dilate until they're almost black. The glow under his skin spreads up his neck as his mind interfaces with the system directly. Lines of code scroll faster than human eyes can read. "Ethan," she whispers, touching his shoulder. "Come back." He doesn't respond. The lights flicker again. Rain hammers the roof harder. Then, slowly, the scrolling stops. He exhales, blinking rapidly as the glow fades back into his chest. "It's contained," he says, "for now." She exhales shakily. "You scared me." He looks up at her, guilt shadowing his expression. "I scare myself." Mia crouches beside him, forcing him to meet her gaze. "You're not what they made you, Ethan. You're what you chose to become. And right now you're choosing to fight for the right reasons." He stares at her for a long time, and something in him softens. "You really believe that?" "I wouldn't be here if I didn't." He smiles, faint but real. "Then I guess we keep fighting." She laughs quietly. "Fighting what?" "The world, the system, ourselves." He leans closer, his forehead touching hers. "Everything that tries to take this away from us." Outside, the rain slows to a drizzle. The storm passes. But in the silence that follows, the faint hum of the monitors continues, a heartbeat that doesn't belong to either of them. Later that night, when Mia falls asleep on the couch, Ethan steps outside. The forest is drenched and quiet, the scent of pine heavy in the air. He tilts his face up to the stars, the faint glow still flickering in his chest. He can feel its residual network scattered across the world. Thousands of dormant fragments waiting to wake, each pulsing faintly like embers under ash. Sphinx isn't dead. It's sleeping. And somehow, it's aware of him. He hears a voice not in his ears, but deep inside his mind. Calm, familiar. "You can't hide forever." He tenses. "I wasn't planning to," he whispers. Back inside, Mia stirs. She dreams of the night of the explosion, the blue light, the sound of Ethan's voice saying, "Close your eyes." When she wakes, the spot beside her is empty. "Ethan," she calls softly. No answer. She steps outside. The rain has stopped, the dawn sky streaked in pale gold. He's standing by the edge of the forest barefoot, his silhouette glowing faintly against the trees. She walks to him. "Couldn't sleep." He shakes his head. "It's spreading faster than I thought. Whatever's left of Sphinx, it's adapting, evolving." Mia frowns. "Can we stop it?" He hesitates. "Maybe, but not alone." She studies him quietly. "Then what are you saying?" "I need to find out who else is connected," he says. "If it replicated fragments of my neural link, there might be others out there, people who touch the system, even briefly. People who might not know what's inside them." Her heartbeat quickens. "You mean it could be anyone?" He nods slowly. "Anyone, anywhere." Mia glances back at the cabin, the safe little world they've built from ashes. "If you go after this, there's no coming back." He looks at her with an expression that's half sorrow, half promise. "Then come with me." She stares at him for a long time before answering. "You sure that's not the machine talking?" He smiles faintly. "No, that's the man who fell in love with the woman who was supposed to destroy him." She steps closer, takes his hand, and for a moment, the glow between them pulses in perfect sync. They pack what little they have, drives, encrypted gear. In a single photograph Mia printed weeks ago, the two of them on the shoreline, bruised and alive. Hours later, an old pickup rumbles down a dirt road, disappearing into the horizon. The radio crackles faintly before static fills the air. Then, from somewhere deep in the static, a voice whispers, "System reboot initializing." Ethan's hand tightens on the steering wheel. Mia looks at him. "You heard that too?" He nods once, jaw tense. "It's starting. Then let's finish it." He glances at her, and the corner of his mouth lifts. Together, the camera would track the truck as it disappears into the dawn, headlights cutting through fog. Over that, a soft voice, the same synthetic tone from before, echoes faintly through the static again, but this time, it sounds almost human. "Love detected. Rewriting protocol." The screen fades to black. Then one last flicker of text appears across the dark. "End of transmission." A pause. Then, faintly, just before the video ends, or maybe the beginning.